I hope everyone is enjoying their Sunday. Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me on archive. October 17th. So much to talk about, so much to cover. I pondered and I pondered and I pondered some more. I I I, I was thinking about, even though he didn't fight this weekend, I was thinking about Anthony Joshua and how he's out of the mix, how he's basically been counted out. After being really since 2016, like in the mix, how he's just like being tossed aside like roadkill or something. Like he just got run over and he just got tossed aside. And I have to be very transparent with everybody, and everybody knows this. I mean, if you've been following me, you know, and if you don't, I mean, those that know will tell you, right? I was not exactly the biggest Anthony Joshua fan. I don't even know if you could classify me as a Anthony Joshua fan, really. Look, I'm a fan of boxing. I appreciate what he's done for the sport, right? I think he was a good champion, great ambassador to the sport. I think he's a great guy, right? And I think he's a good fighter, you know. I still stand by a lot of the things I said about Anthony Joshua. How I still believe offensively he has the best overall arsenal on the planet when it comes to heavyweights. When you put it all together. Defensively, I understand he might not be the best, but I just don't think he's as bad as people make it sound. I get the criticisms. Oh, he always runs out of gas and all this other stuff. But I feel like the roller coaster ride that has been the career of Anthony Joshua is something I followed, you know, and he's given us some great moments, and he was, you know, saw him win a gold medal, in London 2012. I followed his career. He quickly rose to the top. He had that amazing fight with Vladimir Klitschko, rose from the canvas, knocked him out late in that fight with that beautiful uppercut. And then I just kind of, followed his career from there. And the reason I say, a lot of people say, oh, but that guy's DStyle, he's not really a fan of, Anthony Joshua. You know, look, let's be transparent for a moment before I proceed, right? Let's be transparent while I share this really quick. I am a firm believer, right, that in like, well, before I get to that, let's back up. Back up a little bit. Let's back up. Anthony Joshua, while I followed him and appreciated his career, I mean, I was a Deontay Wilder guy. You know what I mean? I was watching Deontay Wilder. I also saw in 2008, saw him win a bronze medal, followed his career, right? Um, you know, thought he had a good performance against Stavern, won that fight by decision, by outboxing Stavern. And then he, just followed his career from there. Then he just started knocking everybody out. He was already knocking everybody out before Stavern, but he continued to do it as, they brought up the level of competition. He wasn't doing it anymore against journeyman. He was doing it against, contenders in the world. Regardless of what you feel about his resume, I mean, the level of competition went up, right? And I wanted to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, just like anybody else, right? And I pushed for that fight, and I pressed for that fight. I wanted to see it. Now, I have the receipts. I always felt back in like 2017-ish or something like that, I did feel Anthony Joshua would win that fight. I always felt that way. That was this talking, not this, not the heart, right? That's how I felt. I mean, I felt pretty confident about that. You know, it, I felt he was just the better overall fighter, and I still feel he fought the better of the opposition. But nonetheless, I did want Deontay Wilder to fight him. I did want Deontay Wilder to beat him, right? And I felt it was very frustrating to me seeing YouTubers on YouTube try to argue why we shouldn't get the fight. Like that always got to me, right? That always confused me. Like, why don't you want to see this fight, especially when there was a? This was around the time where Parker had a belt, AJ had a belt, had two belts, and obviously Wilder had one, right? So I've been here. I'm not like those Johnny come latelys that jump on later, and like I've witnessed the whole thing, right? And you know, I I I remember I wanted to see these guys unify. That's what I wanted to see. AJ unified with Parker. Wilder went his own way, and even after unification, I wanted to see undisputed. And I remember the community going back and forth, and we want proof of funds, and like that. From my look, I'll be honest, I never like that annoyed me. Seeing channels come on here and be like, "Oh, we want to see proof of funds," and like regardless of anything, right? And then there was the zone deal. Why did Wilder turn that down, and this and that? And at the time, I mean, when these guys were on top, Tyson Fury was irrelevant at this point. Tyson Fury was fat. He was washed up. Tyson Fury was a drunk. Okay. He was going through depression openly. Before the Klitschko fight, was already talking about how he wanted to die, right? He was a retired fat drunk. That's what he was. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. That's what he was. I think Fury himself would tell you that. Now, at the time, I do remember, thinking to myself, well, there's something about this the zone deal. I mean, why wouldn't Wilder take it? I was giving Wilder every benefit of the doubt, right? But nonetheless, I wanted to see it. I didn't care if it was on the app. I didn't care if it was on pay-per-view. I just wanted to see Wilder AJ for the undisputed championship of the world, the heavyweight undisputed championship of the world. Right? I said that reverse. I apologize. But the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Before the purists get mad. But I wanted to see that fight, especially after AJ unified with Parker. Now, at that point, the Takam fight had happened. The Parker fight had happened where Parker, I feel, hurt him. And they started to fix like the tape. And at that point, I kind of went from feeling like sure AJ would beat him to like kind of reserved about it. I was like, I don't know. Like Wilder might have enough dog in him. He might get him with that right hand. And the question to me always was, of the two, who's going to take the other's punch? And then I changed a little bit. I started favoring Wilder, right? I started thinking, I think Wilder could take him, and I kind of stayed with that stance till recently. Right? I kind of remained there. I never wavered from that. I would say around 2019-ish, especially after I saw Wilder drop Fury twice, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if AJ is going to be able to get away from that right hand. I mean, AJ can always get him first, but man, right? Then it came. At this point, this is one of the fights, by the way. Wilder versus AJ not happening was extremely frustrating for me. Okay. And as a boxing fan, along with other fights that weren't happening, it's just so many examples that I actually reached a point where I was just tired of boxing. I stopped watching it for a couple months. I had to detox, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of boxing fans don't know what I mean by that. I had to you know what I mean? Just kind of stay away for a little bit. because you can always catch up. It's kind of tough because there's so many divisions, so many fighters, and if you stop watching for a couple months, you kind of lose track. Like, boxing is a sport that, especially if you want to know what the fuck you're talking about, and like you got to keep following it, right? So I was mad about that, and then I remember he was in a fight, Andy Ruiz, late replacement, and I remember thinking to myself, like, man, like, why, like what? Okay, whatever. I didn't think Ruiz had a shot. I gotta be honest with you. I still feel the right choice to pick. The objectively right choice was Anthony Joshua, right? Later, it came out it was concussed in training camp. All this other stuff came out. I didn't know about any of that. I just knew I saw, okay, Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz. I've seen Andy Ruiz fight a couple times, right? On top rank cards. I've seen him in the fight with Parker, which I feel he won, but so I figured it would be a competitive fight for a little bit, but I felt, AJ's going to get him. And I remember when AJ first dropped him, I said, it's a wrap. And then Anthony Ruiz hurt him. And you all know what happened from there. I mean, when that happened, I went from inactive practically on YouTube to active. I got excited. I was like, whoa. Don't get me wrong, I was rooting for Andy, but I didn't think he was going to do it. To be honest, I didn't think he was going to do it. I was hoping he did it. But I didn't think, like when you root for somebody and they're not going to do it, but you root anyway, hoping they do. That's what it was. So Andy Ruiz pulls this major upset. And I'll be honest, man, I was an asshole to Anthony Joshua, okay? I said everything about him, everything. I remember I did a live with Haplotype, And I just remember, like, Anthony Joshua at this point, like, I remember him in the corner. I remember the ref stopped it. The ref stops the fight. And what's up to Fistiano? Shout out to everybody. Bruce Goes, how's it going? Like, I'm not going to even lie, Like, I for a couple months, I was like, yeah, he's done. Like, I was. The truth is, I was upset that the Wilder AJ fight didn't happen, and I put most of the blame on Eddie Hearn, the promoters, right? But like I also put it on Joshua, and it's whatever, right? And that's really what it was when it comes down to it, So I was an asshole. Like I was out here insinuating the dude quit, and then like I was, it's what I did, That's what I did. Can't change the past, right? And I remember I was like just counting them out, but then I was even making fun of him for a little bit with the training clips, but then like I don't know. I kept following him and I kept listening to what people were saying, right? And I kept asking myself, do I sound like that? Do I sound like that? Am I acting like an asshole like that? And all I saw was AJ train. All I saw was AJ say, no excuses, but I'm getting my belts back, right? Like, I think the most AJ ever said was, look, he landed the punch of the gods. And he hurt me, and I never recovered from that shot. I think that's the most he ever said. That I like, I don't know. I think I made a big deal about it, if I'm honest. Like I was like, oh, what do you mean? He's saying it was a fluke. Like I don't believe in flukes like that, but I do think the stars aligned perfectly for Andy Ruiz in that night in Madison Square Garden. I do believe the stars aligned. El Chido Boxing, Tony Boswell, how's it going, everybody? Like, I feel like the stars just aligned perfectly for him. And the truth is, the closer the rematch came, because eventually the rematch was announced, because we went through a period, remember, when we weren't even sure the fight's going to happen, and I just wanted to see Undisputed. And I'll never forget that feeling. Like I just want to see Andy Ruiz fight Wilder. Let's do Undisputed. Fuck AJ and Eddie Hearn. I don't give a shit what they say. I mean, that's the attitude I had, right? And looking back, that attitude was wrong, right? Looking back, reflecting back, right? Like the truth is, Andy Ruiz owed AJ his rematch, right? Like that's just the way it is. And we all saw why. Because what Andy Ruiz couldn't do one time, AJ's done multiple times. He couldn't be a champion. It's harder to defend your title than to win it. Because now you're the one they're gunning for. All these contenders, they all have film on you because all your fights are on the big stage under the bright lights. They're all gunning for you. They're all preparing for you. When their shot comes against you, they already have things that they've played in their minds that they're going to try against you. They've already done that. A champion can't do that with everybody, right? Now, granted, look, Andy Ruiz, full credit to him. He seized the moment. But the truth is, when it came to him being the champion, like the hard, cold truth is he failed. He failed to keep himself disciplined. He failed to keep himself in shape. That's part of being a champion. That's part of being a defending champion. He failed to do that one time. One time. He could have succeeded at that and lost against AJ, but he didn't do that. He failed at that. And then I honestly feel that there was a certain audacity people had in taking away AJ's redemption and beating Andy in the rematch. It took it away from him for something that was out of his control. It's not his fault that Andy Ruiz got fat and out of shape, that didn't come prepared. It's not his fault. That's Andy Ruiz's fault. That's part of the deal. That's part of being a champion. So I hope Andy Ruiz, I have more faith in AJ than I do on Andy Ruiz. Because at least I know AJ is going to stay in shape. At least I know AJ is taking it serious. At least I know AJ it doesn't have these cravings that prevent him from, staying in shape. At least I know AJ is someone who takes the sport serious. At least I know that, and that goes a long way. That shows consistency, which we've seen. A lot of fighters can't do that. A lot of fighters are great on performing on a night, but they're not great at being a reigning champion. And the truth is, Anthony Joshua was a reigning champion. That's what he was. He had title reigns. He had title defenses, plural. And he did it against the top opposition in the world, is what he did it against. So what am I trying to say on this Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, whatever? Like, I still believe in Anthony Joshua. Like, I really do. Anthony Joshua, I do believe at some point will hold a world title again. I do believe that. And there's people saying, oh, he'll never hold another world title again. That's your opinion. But if I look at their histories, look at it. Go ahead and look at it. Let's review it. We don't know if before we even get to if they fight, let's put that aside. We don't know if Fury will ever even fight again. He's very unpredictable. Okay? Fury might vacate the belt. Right? Fury might be gone. Fury might go through another binge. Fury might, refuse to fight the winner of Ottawa and White and vacate the belt. And there's a belt right there. Like, there's a lot of possibilities that could happen that don't involve fighting Fury. And there's also possibilities that don't involve fighting Usyk. You know, is Usyk going to fight the mandatories he needs to fight to maintain all those belts? We don't know yet, right? And if Anthony Joshua continues to be active, if he continues to fight the top level opposition that he's been fighting, there is a really good chance he could hold the title belt again. It's not out of the question. And these are things that would be completely out of his control. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I believe that Anthony Joshua, okay, can come back. And those are just those possibilities. Can Anthony Joshua beat Fury? Right now, no. I don't think he could beat him right now. Okay? I don't. I do think a lot of things have to happen. Right? I do. But he doesn't have to fight Fury right now. First order of business is getting his belts back from Usyk. So the question is, can he beat Usyk? Look, I'm not ready to give you guys a prediction yet on who would win, Usyk versus Joshua. I have no idea. I don't know yet. I don't know like what to tell you guys, right? I don't know who would win, right? If look, I'll get there when I get there, right? I need to see what changes Joshua makes. Right. I need to see. I could tell you what I would prefer and what I believe will happen, but right, not so much who would win, but I would prefer Joshua take a step back and not invoke his rematch clause. And I know that will be extremely controversial. He deserves his rematch clause, and he should do it if he wants. Don't get me wrong. Okay, but he needs to take a step back. Right, take a step back and just start from like not so much from scratch, but if you're going to change trainers, get into their system, you know, and maybe lower the level of opposition for 2 or 3 fights. That's it. You know what I mean? That's going to do a lot for him, right? He goes in there, boom, boom, blows the guys out. It's going to get his confidence up. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's what he needs. He's been fighting like a lot of the top heavyweights in the world, fight after fight after fight. All these other guys, including Fury, are taking these little tune-ups, right? Why can't Anthony Joshua do that? And I get, hey, heaviest is the hand that holds the crown because he was the heavyweight champion. But right now, you're not the heavyweight champion. Right now, okay, I think he needs to take a step back in the level of opposition and just get some W's under your belt. Get a win here, get a win there. You know what I mean? You'll go a little bit under the radar, whatever it is. Hopefully, you don't have a Mikey Garcia experience where some nobody that nobody knows beats you or something. But you know, and just start climbing up the ladder again. It may take 3, 4 fights. It may take 2 years or so, right? But your confidence will get up, and then you'll be ready to take and seize an opportunity to get your world titles back. He needs to take a different route. Even if it's 1 fight in between, he needs to take a different route. But even if he doesn't do that, and I don't believe he's going to do that, I think he's going to exercise his rematch clause. That's what he's going to do, I believe. And in exercising his rematch clause, all right, he is going to, you know, lower his chances of winning. But it's also the reason I respect Anthony Joshua. Because he's willing to go right back in there with somebody who just beat him. he doesn't have to exercise this rematch clause. And the whole world is counting him out. I tweeted this out. I still believe in Anthony Joshua, right? I tweeted that out. The amount of people, like there's different types of people. Yeah, the people that are trying to walk me off the ledge, right? Like, no, you don't want to do that. Like what? Like, you don't want to believe in Anthony Joshua. He's broken. He's done. There's people saying he's broken. People saying he's done. He's compromised. He's damaged goods. He's not the same no more. Like the things they're saying about Anthony Joshua. So you have a fair amount of people trying to talk me off the ledge. Like, yo, this is. Let me tell you something. You don't want to do that. You know what? Let's go over the. Should we just go over the tweets? Let's go over the tweets. Let's go over it right now. Let's go over the tweets. All right. So let me share my screen, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to go over the tweets right now. That's what we're going to do. Thanks for everybody that came in. There's people that think I'm crazy. I still believe in Anthony Joshua, I said. That's all I said. That's all I said. I was not expecting this tweet to go viral. I just wasn't. Okay? I wasn't. I just believe that the universe rewards people like Anthony Joshua at some point. You get what you put in, and people get what they deserve at some point. I do believe the universe, if you want to be strong, will give you the opportunities to be strong. I still believe in Anthony Joshua. 110 freaking retweets. One of them is mine. I cheated a little bit. One of them is mine. 35 quote tweets. And 1,027 likes and counting. Let's go over the quote tweets really quick. That's my dog. So this guy's on my side. Okay. Pablito. Jose Villarreal said, LOL. That's what he said. Next Level Boxing. Oh, you and his auntie. Look at this. I mean, shit, bro. Adeola Amosun says, AJ's confidence has been in shambles since his loss to Ruiz. He needs to show guts and believe in himself before anyone else. Fury is a good example. He's not exactly a dart into the Brits, but they can't help but love him now. Just like that. That's what people are saying. His confidence has been in shambles. That's what they're saying about Anthony Joshua. Look what they're saying. Like it's irreversible. Like what he's going through. He has this irreversible identity that he cannot fix. And this is the stuff that is kind of getting to me a little bit. Is that you? I don't know who that is. It must be some Anthony Joshua fan. Anytime, any day, Baba Landlord's on my side. Gino says Usyk is in Ruiz, LOL. This looks like a bad style matchup, which is fair, right? And we'll get to that in a little bit. Joshua's still the champ, this guy said. Someone said me too, although they missed that. They used the wrong two. Can I get a 3x? Can I get a 3 times? I don't know what that means, but I guess he means like he's on my side. Same, leaving my protein shake every Christmas, and it's always gone in the morning. Part of me reckons my dad drinks it. I don't know what that means, right? I guess, does it mean like that he believes in Santa? Oh, is that what it is? One thing this loss has done is filter out the fake. The true remain by his side. Okay. What's this 3-time? Hashtag 3 times. I don't know what that means. Oh, I'm such an idiot. 3-time heavyweight champion. Never mind. Anyway. You know what I mean? Anyway. Sorry. Everybody's probably, come on, DStyle. Hey, brother, I appreciate it. It says Omar E. What fight would be better in your opinion? Wilder versus Ruiz or Wilder versus Joshua? Wilder Joshua. That fight needs to happen at some point. I really hope it's not the, Bo Lewis of our era. I really hope it's not. Okay. I got, and thanks for the support, brother. I appreciate it. Let's go over some more of these really quick. So do I, says this person. He don't even believe in himself. Stop running from Fury, boy. This is what kind of bothers me, because Joshua was not the reason that the fight didn't happen. That was Fury's fault. Like I don't get, and maybe you could argue it was nobody's fault, but the reality is it wasn't like from their side, from AJ's side. Usyk had stepped aside, like they were ready to go. It was from Fury's side were the ones that couldn't make the fight happen. He had to fight Wilder the third time. This idea that he's running from Fury, when look, you could believe Fury would beat AJ in a fight all you want, and most are going to agree with you, right? Especially right now, because one's on a high and one's on a low, and it's easy to kick somebody when they're down, right? But it's ridiculous to say that he's been running from Fury. It's just ridiculous. Fury, first of all, Fury gave up some time himself, and Fury came back and fought Wilder and signed multiple fight contracts with Wilder. When did he run from Fury? He needs to reawaken the beast that he used to be. We need that Klitschko, AJ, he says. Someone says me too. There's a lot of people that are agreeing with me, in fairness, okay? I will always support AJ no matter how many fights he loses, this guy says. So let me ask you guys this. Serious question. Even if AJ loses to Usyk in the third fight, I'm sorry, in the rematch, right? Does that mean it's over? Like that's it? Was it over for Holyfield when he lost the trilogy to Bo? Was it over for Vladimir Klitschko when he got knocked out for the third time? And that third time was his first fight with Emmanuel Stewart. Was it over? Was it over for Lennox Lewis when he got knocked out for the second time against Rockman? Was it over? What does "it's over" really mean? Like, what does that mean exactly? Like, why is me saying, hey, I still believe in Anthony Joshua? I still believe in AJ. Why is that bothering people? So let's go over some of the comments. By the way, read this comment. Yes, Joshua lost to Ruiz and avenged his loss. Yes, he lost to a gold medalist and undisputed cruiserweight champ Usyk. He's testing himself fight after fight. You can lose when you do that. I'm sure many of you gave up on Lewis after the second KO loss and on Vladimir Klitschko after his third KO loss. Some people saying, somebody says here they believe in the Bronze Bomber. He isn't Santa, somebody said. There's a little poll right there. So far, some people believe he'll be heavyweight champion again. 1,000%. Samba Ruiz is king. I don't know about that. Good to somebody. Just doesn't look like AJ's heart's in it anymore. Boxing legend Marvin Hagler once said, "It's hard to get out of bed in the morning to go for a run when you're sleeping in silk sheets." What are people basing AJ's heart isn't in it anymore? What are they basing that out of? Like off of? Like, what do you base that off of? What do you mean by that? Like how do you know his heart's not in it? He's coming in shape. He's still working on his craft. He listen like he's taking. It might be crappy advice, but he's listening to his corner. What I don't understand. Like I could see somebody saying that about Mikey Garcia after the last performance. He looked on it but does AJ really look like? Did he look uninspired to you, unmotivated to you, or did Usyk just outbox him that night? Which one is it really? Which one is it? But okay. I mean, look, AJ's been making millions like for 4 years. I haven't even looked it up, but I'm sure he made a good amount of money when, you know, when he fought Parker. I'm sure he made a good amount of money then. I'm sure he made good money. I'm sure he's been making millions and tens of millions. I'm sure he's been making that. So what are we basing this off of? When he fought Charles Martin, he probably made a lot of money. He probably had a lot of good sponsorship money, being a gold medalist in London, becoming pro. He's probably used to money. So what are we basing this off? All of a sudden, he's just unmotivated. Somebody said you got him into boxing, so you can't abandon him. I got you. You're the only one, says Stud. Well, that's not true. I'm not the only one that still believes in Anthony Joshua. Right? I'm probably not the only one. People are laughing. But it's not showing the comments so far anyway, but there was a lot of people saying he can't even beat White. He already beat White. I wouldn't to somebody. And I still believe I'll morph into a cat. Like somebody literally believes that the chances of AJ coming back and becoming a heavyweight champion again are equal to being morphed into a cat. I think that's ridiculous. Right? I get they're being sarcastic, but still. Somebody said British heavyweights, puffed. What, like Father Christmas and the Tooth Fairies to somebody? Look, I understand these are completely sarcastic comments, but what they basically what they're saying is they're giving up on AJ. They don't believe in him. They don't believe in his ability to climb back to the top. I feel like he doesn't believe in himself as much as you believe in him, unfortunately. Is that true? Like, what signs has AJ given people? What is it that you guys are seeing that makes you confident and assured? Like, what makes you so assured that he doesn't want to be on top again? Why are you so assured of yourself? Like, so sure of that? Based off of what? Now, a lot of these things are the same things I criticize him for, but look, when he lost the title to Ruiz, he looked too happy in the corner. Look, understandably so, right? Everybody got mad at Wilder because he didn't show any sportsmanship and walked out of the ring. And, you know what I mean? We get mad at fighters that walk out of the ring and this and that. And, you know what I mean? But then you get mad at them if they do show sportsmanship like Joshua and say, oh, what a great performance by Andy and this and that, right? You know, he gave him props and showed him respect. But people had a problem with that. Like, why isn't he mad? He should be mad. What do you mean? Like, how about guys are just themselves? Like Anthony Joshua can just know that it's time to shut off the switch. The fight is over. And I'm just going to give the opponent that beat me props, right? He made no excuses, none. And a lot of his fans might have made excuses, but he didn't make excuses. And he went on and he avenged his loss. I think he was hurt in the 12th round against Usyk. I don't think he was quitting. I think he was hurt. And people want to say, people want to be mind readers all of a sudden. Oh, he looked at me like he wanted to quit. I don't know about that. AJ's such an awesome guy, but being awesome doesn't win fights. He needs to avenge himself against Usyk, then convincingly deal with Wilder before a fight with Fury is even relevant again. Wow. But is that true? Like, what did Tom Schwartz do to be relevant to fight Fury? Like, okay. Simple as that. Anthony Joshua, I'm going to tell you guys right now, you see these memes, you know? I still believe in Santa Claus, Al for loss. I still believe in Santa Claus. He needs better movement. I believe in Father Christmas against who? Shout out to Christine. He's not in Fury's class. Okay. People are being sarcastic while he does exist. You know what I realized about humans, man? I'll say this. I get it. It's easy to count them out right now. It's an easy thing to do. All right? It is. So the goat say, what do you mean by you believe in Joshua? I'm saying I don't believe all the stuff people are saying. I don't believe that he's a broken down dude, that he doesn't care about boxing no more, that I just don't believe those things. I think he will still be a force at heavyweight. He will still remain relevant at heavyweight for a couple more years. I don't think he's done. I don't think he's done. I think there's a better path for him to come back, personally. But let me tell you something. I still think he's going to be relevant. I still think, look, I get it. It's easy. It's easy to count him out right now. It's an easy thing to do. You might even argue. You could argue the logical thing to do. I get it. I disagree, but I get it. Right? If somebody loses twice, like I get it. We're living in the blueprint to beat them era, the old era. We're living in that era where, people don't understand that guys could bounce back. They could come back. You know what I mean? People thought farming was done in the 70s. I'm not saying Josh is going to do that. I'm not saying he's going to come back 2 decades from now or a decade from now, whatever, right? 15 years from now, win the heavyweight championship. But what I'm saying is, don't just count guys out like this when they've proven to you that they could be relevant and on top for years. Nobody's on top like that by accident. Okay? Nobody. Mark my words. It may not be in the rematch against Usyk. It may not, right? But Anthony Joshua will hold a heavyweight title again. He will. Okay? I think the chances that happening are very high. Okay? I don't think they're anywhere near as low as a lot of you think they are. I just don't. Okay? If he does fight Usyk, I haven't decided who I'm going to go for yet, like who I'm going to pick, right, to win. But I wouldn't count him out of that fight. Remember, he had Usyk cut, like a couple more punches. It could have created a bigger cut, a bigger gash. You never know. So all I'm saying is don't give up on Anthony Joshua. All I'm saying is the physical tools of Joshua are there. Okay? I think he's got, in my opinion, he has every punch in the book. He has the physical tools to beat anybody, including Fury and Usyk. The question is the trainer, the game plan, the execution, and the mental aspect. That those are the questions. Many of those he can easily fix by just switching trainers, by his methodology, his execution. He could fix all those things, right? But let me tell you this. I think a lot of people see Tyson Fury and what he did to Wilder, right? He went up to 270 pounds, and he bulldozed Wilder, all right? And we saw what happened. And he kind of showed, look, if you back Wilder up, he can't fight that way, you know? And Wilder showed, especially in both fights, but especially in the rematch, showed in the third fight that he had a lot of heart and resilience, and he landed the right hand a couple times, dropped him twice, whatever, right? People are just assuming, right, that Fury that we saw, right, at 279 pounds would beat Joshua. He's gonna, he would overwhelm Joshua. I mean, Joshua would probably quit, and like people are saying he would have lasted 3 rounds with that Fury. I disagree. Call me crazy. I don't think the 270 plus pound Fury beats Joshua. I don't. I think he's too heavy at that weight. He looked too tired. He was too hittable. Did not have good head movement in that fight. He just didn't. Oh, but but he took the right hand of Wilder. Look, AJ has a right hand too. But AJ also has a really good hook and a really good uppercut. Right? He's a better combination puncher. Like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know that if that would work. I don't think it would work. I don't. I think Fury would have to come in 260 and below or something. I really do. He's gonna have to come like that. The Fury we saw against Klitschko, I think that's the Klitschko. That's the Fury that needs to show up, and I think he would outbox AJ to a 12-round decision. But I don't think he's got. I don't think he's got it in him to lose all that weight anymore. I don't think he wants to. He barely trained for this Wilder fight. That's the other thing, and that must be extremely depressing to some Wilder fans that Fury didn't even train that hard and still like dominated most of the rounds, right? But AJ's just a different type of fight. Like, styles make fights. I think if you look at everything from the outside to mid-range to the inside, I think AJ has more, especially from mid-range, more to offer. I still feel that way. Oh, but he lost to a cruiserweight. Usyk is not Fury. Okay? Different fight. You know? So look, we're going to have enough time to explore AJ and the heavyweight division. But I just wanted to come on record to say, right, that way I don't sound like a Johnny-come-lately or Monday morning quarterback. When and if Anthony Joshua makes his comeback and is holding the belt again, and if he does it, he doesn't. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not attached to these fighters, right? Like, I don't live and die by them. It is, if he doesn't, he doesn't. But I just do believe he will. That's all I'm going to say. So, with that said, that's all I got. Enjoy your Sunday. This is DStyleBoxing. I'm out.